How's things, guys? In this video today, I'm going to go through a really hot topic at the moment. It's around AI. In this video, we're going to go through AI agents, AI automations, and also just automations too. And it's really, really important to understand the key differences between each of them. They all have different use cases. They do completely different things. And I think once you understand the key differences between these and how they actually do work, it's going to really benefit your business going forward. We've used these three different approaches with external business, internally with our own business, and it's saved tons of time. So bear with me on this one. We'll go through three different flows, the key differences of each of them, and then also I'm going to show you a live case study of these things operating in real time as well, and explain it. So by the end of it, you're going to understand the three different cases, and hopefully you get some value and you can actually apply it to your own business. So let's get into it. So now I'm going to go through the difference between the AI automations and AI agents. I'm going to explain it fairly quickly, and then we're going to move over here to some diagrams that we have, and we can really talk through and explain how they work. So in a summary, how AI automation works is it follows a linear sequence. So if you think of it like Lego blocks, like A, B, C, and D, all stacked on top of each other, and it follows the same sequence every single time. And AI automations, an example here would be, let's say, make a LinkedIn post and an Instagram carousel. So firstly, we'd give the user a prompt, creates an image, adds captions, and posts to social media. Another case that we'd use it for potentially within the agency game, you could use it for competitor research. So for giving a prompt, leveraging perplexity, filling out a form could be the trigger, feeds it into Perplexity. Perplexity then takes that, puts it into another agent. The agent will analyze that and then pass it into a document all the way through to a sheet, and even create strategies off the back of that. So, and you can see it's a very linear process, but we are using and leveraging AI to enhance the process too. In contrast to that, we've got the AI agent. The AI agent is dynamic. It picks the tools. It asks itself questions. When should I use this tool? And it's not as rigid as the AI automation. And as you can see over here, the agent sits up here, has an input, and then it will ask itself maybe what tools should I use or which order should I use them in. And some tools that I may have is Google Sheets, could have Gmail, and it could have Google Drive. But we may want this agent to send an email, but if it doesn't have the right instructions, it may not go to the Gmail straight away. So the core difference between an AI automation is it's linear, and then the agent is it's dynamic. The linear one has predefined steps. It always runs in the same order. So, and if you've got tasks that are really rigid and you don't want them to change and they need to be correct every single time, an AI automation is probably the way to go for you. And then an AI agent, again, if you've got something like a chatbot or something customer facing that doesn't need to be absolutely perfect every single time, an agent may be the way to go for you in that case. After going through the differences between the different types of systems. So, firstly, traditional automation, just think of this as a linear sequence of A, B, C, and D, all Lego blocks. It's a manual process that can be automated, but we don't need any AI to be leveraged. Number two, we've got an AI automation. So again, it's a linear process with a sprinkle of AI into it. So you're leveraging AI in it, but you've got steps before and steps after, and it is a linear and reliable sequence. After that, we've got AI agents. Again, they can be right most of the time, but at the same time, it's definitely you have to be careful of the tools and the system prompt that you do give to that. Okay, so firstly, traditional automation, you can see here, go to Google Sheets, fetch the data, you'll have a router, and then which way should I send the email to? Should it which one should it actually be to? Again, this could be like customer support or financial. After this, we've got AI automation. So this follows a linear sequence of steps. So A to B to C to D. So the trigger is the input here. Then we've got a Google Sheet as tool one. After that, we're going to call all on the AI. After that, we've got tool two, which could be Gmail. And then after that, once we send the email, we could maybe store something back into the sheets again. But as you can see here, this could be saved, this could be gathering the data. Then from here, the agent could be writing the email for you and then passing it to the using this next tool to send the email and then storing it maybe in a Google Sheets after that and logging the time. So again, you've got your input, your output, but it's all still very strict, and but you're just sprinkling AI in between. And there's many different use cases that you can use this. This was a very simple and basic situation. So the last one here is the AI agents. So again, it operates dynamically. So you've got your input. You could even just say something from WhatsApp. Say, look, I want to send an email to John about setting up a meeting over the next 2 weeks. So again, you could have your calendar down here as a tool. You could also have you have your email here. You've got your sheets here. So again, you could have John's email in here. You could have the Gmail, then the access to that, which the agent can then send an email, and then you can also have your calendar here, which you could actually book a meeting within your calendar, and then you could actually just save the meeting maybe back in your sheet. But when you send this input into the WhatsApp and you don't have any instructions in the agent, essentially the agent's going to ask a couple of questions. Which tools should I use first and which order? Because if you don't tell the agent which way to do it, it's not going to know what to do. So you need to say, look, you need to send a message to John and you can leverage the Google Sheets first. After this, you need to go and check and see if the calendar is free for the time that I want to send the meeting request to. And then from there, I want you to go and use the Gmail tool to then go and send an email. So you can see the sequence. We're not going from A to B to C here. I know this is a Google Drive, but let's say it's a Google Meets or a calendar tool. You go from the first tool, then to the third tool, back to the second tool, and then you'll get the output after that. So again, it's really important, and that's why when you have a linear task that needs to be correct every single time and reliable, this is where it gets a little bit risky because you're giving the AI agent the autonomy to go and make that decision for you. Whereas if I had this in an AI automation, I'd get it right 100% every time. So why are traditional and AI automations better right now? Well, look, I think it's fair to say they're still the backbone. Trigger event equals series of actions occur. It's like building a pipeline. So it's one step after the other. They're reliable, they have a low failure rate, and the good thing is that if API changes or external systems are modified, because you've got the building blocks in place, you'll know where to go and debug. So again, it's much easier to debug and much more reliable. Whereas if you give the flexibility to the AI agent, sometimes this may get confusing and it may be hard to debug and make sure that it's rigid, especially if something's really important, because there's a lot of manual tasks at business and they need to be correct. So if you are going to automate them, you need to figure out which one is going to be right. And again, it's probably going to be one of the first two here. But again, it's not the same in every use case either. So you may have a series of actions that follow the same steps each time, as I just mentioned there. By building an automation, you're building a reliable, repeatable flow over and over again. So again, if you have an established process that makes X, like, you need to figure out which one that we're actually going to use. As I mentioned, something that's reliable, which would bring me to AI automation. So again, a couple of questions we need to consider here, and when to actually use traditional automation. So the first one here is reliable, when reliability is non-negotiable, it has to be reliable, when it can't go wrong. AI and traditional automation would be really important. So the next one, number two, would be required decisions are clear cut. Number three, we need to maintain precise control and the process rarely changes. Now, the amount of time that these can save is astronomical. It will really revolutionize a business. But in the setup of it, just needs the fundamentals need to be laid down, and the systems need to be drawn out and discovered at the beginning, because if you don't get it right at the start, it's kind of like a house with no foundations. And then after, when to use maybe AI agents, here's some use cases that you can potentially use. So customer facing, when the chatbot is a valuable source and it's important. The cost of an occasional error is minimal, so it's low stakes. And when the workflow needs to be adapted to a wide variety of unpredictable inputs, so potentially customer support. So again, it's not leveraging AI at all, but it is systemizing and automating a task that we had to do manually over and over and over again. So the first one here, you can see there's a scheduled trigger. So it goes off a certain time and day, and it will go through the ad accounts of some clients, or this is just a use case for an existing external partner. So you could actually just pull the ads, you could get the ad campaigns, split them out, um, go and find the active ad sets, and then from there brings it all down, can analyze the data, update to sheets, and again you can see exactly what's live, what's not live. You can get alerts for certain different things, and again if something goes wrong with an account, like straight away, and you can act on it. So again, acting as that kind of layer of security as well is really important too. So that the tool that the AI agent is getting the brain from, and then it has numerous different reports down here. So again, this could be like in the financial department, you could have your last 30 days reports, last 7 days reports, your budget recommendations, your forecasts. And then from here, you could actually have the AI agent analyze all of this data, pick holes and kind of what's going wrong, what's going right, against the forecast, looking back in historical data, so doing all the manual work that you don't actually have to do anymore. And then you can actually have this pass this information to you on a Monday morning and say, look, this is what's happened over the last 7 days. This is what's happened over the last 30 days. I'm seeing trends that you may not be seeing. And over the last year, this is what you guys done last year, so it might be worth flagging. So again, like this could be just an automated message to a Slack channel. Here's the schedule trigger, here's the AI agent using all of its tools, and then from here I want you to go and maybe send me an email, send me a Slack message, update a sheet, and so on. And so again, there's building blocks here, and there's a strict sequence as well, so it's reliable too. So again, you could just ask the AI agent a message. So it could be through chat, it could be through WhatsApp, and you can actually even do it through voice if you want. And then from here, again, what do we want actually of this? Because we need to explain to the agent what we actually want out of this. This is actually just memory here, so that it can remember what's actually happened previously if it's going to happen again. So that will give it a little bit more reliability. But where do we? So essentially, what we're after doing here is we actually connected to a weather channel, and just an example where I'll actually just pull up a new screen now. Okay, so I've got a example of a working workflow here. So again, like if I executed this step here, this would actually work perfectly across the whole flow here. So again, for the AI agent here, we've got a chat input. So we could open our chat here and we could just ask it a question. So for example, what's the weather? And the reason why this is going to actually work for Dublin, Ireland is because I've configured this now to go for Dublin, Ireland. So you can see here on the left hand side, it's answering the question. And within this here, you can see down the bottom, the country is Ireland and the county is Dublin. So at the start, it actually was coming in at Dublin in the US. But again, what we could do here is if we don't tell the agent exactly what to do, say, look, I want you to go and check the weather and make sure the weather is correct. Go to the weather app first. And then after that, we could say, look, once you get the weather from Dublin, I want you to send me an email at 7 a.m. every morning because I like going for a walk. So when I do get out of bed, I know what I'm going to wear, I know what temperature it is, and I actually want you to even look at the forecast into the future and plan out my day because I like going for a walk in the middle of the day. It's just a wild example, but again, it just shows the opportunities. But again, this can be flexible too because it's not actually rigid. It's not like a business process that needs to be 100% correct. So again, these are all just the three different workflows that are built at the moment. Again, it's really important to understand which one to choose. Whether is it just going to be an automation with no AI? Is it going to be an AI workflow? So again, basically an automation, but you're leveraging AI at the same time. Because at the same time, we could go and we could gather all of this data from here, but there's tons. These are like 4 different databases. So at the same time, these need to be analyzed and we need to go through these in detail, and then we need to pass on the reports. So an automation is just not going to do that this level of work or have it take its own autonomy to go and deep dive into that. And then from here, you've got your AI agent. So again, this was the one where we done a HTTP request to the open weather app. So you can actually just basically just gather more information about different things, and then we can upload stuff to the drive. We've got memory as well. So that's just a previous workflow, but basically doing the exact same thing. So look, hopefully you found it valuable. The main thing to consider is just think of it like a system. Like, what do I need to start with, and what's the end point, and what needs to happen in between. Most of the time, you'll be able to solve it within these first two. But break it down, map it out, and just think of it like Lego blocks. But if you have any questions, happy to go through them and just let me know. Cheers.